Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're looking at two huge stories that on the surface seem to have absolutely nothing in common. One is about a top AI company openly defying the Pentagon. The other, a perfect storm brewing in the world of crypto. But what connects them is this: they are both pushing our old school systems of governance right to the breaking point. Okay, let's dive right in. This single sentence right here, this is what kicked everything off. When Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, said this, he launched an unprecedented battle between one of the world's most safety-focused AI labs and, well, the most powerful military on the planet. So how did we get here? This all started with what looked like a fantastic partnership, a $200 million deal. But hidden inside the contract was a single clause that was about to spark a massive fight over the very soul of artificial intelligence. Here's the absolute heart of the disagreement. The Pentagon wanted to use AI for any lawful use. Anthropic said, whoa, not so fast. We need to write specific safety limits directly into the legally binding contract. OpenAI, by contrast, basically offered a policy promise, saying they'd follow the law. You can see the huge difference, right? One's a hard-coded, legally binding red line. The other, well, it leaves it all up to the government to decide what's lawful. And these were the two red lines for Anthropic. They absolutely refused to provide tech that could be used for autonomous weapons. We're talking AI making kill decisions without a human signing off, or for mass surveillance of American citizens. For them, it was a complete non-starter that violated their core mission. So Anthropic wouldn't back down. And the Pentagon's response? It was stunning. They pulled out a tool that has never, ever in U.S. history been used against a domestic tech company. They branded Anthropic a supply chain risk to national security. Now, you have to understand, this is a huge deal. This designation is a political weapon. It's normally used for foreign adversaries. So to use it on an American company simply because it stood its ground on ethics, that sets a chilling precedent. It sends a message to the entire tech industry: disagree with us and we can label you a threat to the nation. And this was the deal that started it all, a major 2-year contract that was supposed to bring cutting-edge AI right into the Department of Defense. And this is what standing by their principles could cost them. That designation didn't just kill the one deal. No, it cut Anthropic off from all federal work, putting billions of dollars of future business on the line. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. In the very same week that all this drama was unfolding in Washington, a completely different kind of governance crisis was hitting a boiling point in the world of digital finance. It was like a perfect storm. You had 3 huge, seemingly separate catalysts for crypto, one driven by pure math, one by policy, and one by law, and they were all set to collide at the exact same time. So let's break down each of these 3 events, because you've got to see how they built up to put the entire crypto market on a real nice edge. First up, the math. A major milestone was hit. The 20 millionth Bitcoin was mined. Why does this matter? Because there will only ever be 21 million in total. We're now at over 95% of all the Bitcoin that will ever exist. That last million, it's going to take more than 100 years to mine. But here's the kicker. When you account for the millions of coins that are just gone forever, lost hard drives, forgotten passwords, plus all the coins held by long-term investors who aren't selling, the actual supply that's available for trading is tiny. Like maybe less than 5 million coins. That is some serious verifiable scarcity right there. Okay, catalyst number 2, the U.S. Federal Reserve's interest rate decision. Now, nobody thought the Fed's policy committee, the FOMC, would actually move rates, but the market was hanging on every single word. A few key phrases from the Fed chair signaling what they might do in the future could literally trigger billions of dollars in trades in a heartbeat. And the third piece of this whole puzzle? Legislation. A massive bipartisan bill called the Clarity Act that's been working its way through Congress for a while. It's designed to finally bring some, clarity to the U.S. crypto industry. Passing this act would be a seismic event. It would finally end years of legal fights by officially calling assets like Bitcoin commodities, regulated by the CFTC instead of securities under the SEC. And that distinction is absolutely crucial. The bill also says the Fed can't just go and create a digital dollar without getting explicit approval from Congress first. So there you have it, an AI company in a standoff with the government over ethics.
in a multi-trillion-dollar digital asset market just holding its breath over code, policy, and law.
I know. On the surface, these stories could not feel more different. So what is the fundamental link between an AI rebellion and a crypto tipping point? The connection is governance. Both of these crises are really just symptoms of the exact same problem. Our 20th century systems of law, contracting, and regulation are being stretched to their absolute breaking point by 21st century technology. Think about it this way. In the AI story, you've got old tools, like contract law, being used to try and force control over a powerful new technology. In the crypto story, it's the other way around. The new technology itself is forcing old institutions to write an entirely new rulebook from scratch. Both of these stories are far from over, so as things keep developing, here are the key signals, the specific triggers that you should be watching. For AI, it's all about the courts. For crypto, it's about the specific language from the Fed and the legislative agenda in the Senate. Seriously, the outcomes of these three events will shape the landscape for both of these transformative industries for years to come. And that leaves us with the billion-dollar question, doesn't it? These two crises, they're not isolated incidents, they're stress tests, and they're forcing us all to ask whether our systems of governance can possibly evolve as fast as our technology, or if we're just headed for a lot more conflicts like these in the future.